All right. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Guess we're gonna do Fritter Friday from the car. Oh man, we'll be a little pre-recorded today. Man, I got so much stuff going on. Going to my last closing of the day. Had 6. One of them ended up not signing because there was some concerns about the paperwork, and they didn't have that many pages to sign. Barely 20, maybe 34 at the most. So couldn't do that signing, but everything else got done. Ripping and running all over the place today, but I love it. I'm cool with it and stuff. So let me see how I want to do this here. So let me address a couple of things real quick. So first of all, the printing thing. In that video where I'm talking about the cost of printing, there's a pinned comment where I did a video, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, where I really broke down the cost of printing. Let me be clear. When I'm talking about the cost of printing, I am including the drum and the toner costs. Because if you go back and look at the video that I did, that's in that pinned comments, in the comment section, it's pinned to the top. There's a video that I did where I break all of that stuff down and show you the calculations of how much it costs per page based off of the yield of the toner and the drum. Okay, if you have a toner cartridge that can pump out 18,000 pages, and then you divide the pages into the cost of the toner, it's not even a full cent. So you're safe. So when you add those numbers up, it comes out to all of those numbers for the legal, the letter, and all of that. You're looking at about 5 cents a sheet. If you just go for the high end, it is not going to be 15 cents and 20 cents a sheet. There's just no way. That doesn't make sense. So if you have concerns about the figures that I'm coming out with, please provide your calculations. Please go do the calculation. Look at that video, see if I'm doing the calculations correctly, and then provide the proper calculations in your calculations and show us. Because a lot of people commenting saying I got it wrong, but nobody is showing me the correct thing. So it doesn't do any good for anybody if you can't lay out the correct way to calculate this stuff. So that would be ideal, because if you're just saying it, then it's like, okay, so what's right? Well, you just got it wrong. You didn't account for this and account for that. So show me how to account for it, which I did, okay, based off of that other video. Also, when it comes to the printing costs, it has nothing to do with mileage. I'm not calculating how many miles I also had, because we don't know how many miles you're going to be driving. So the printing cost is just the cost to print the documents, not the cost to print the documents, and then I'm gonna throw in another 2 cents for the miles, and another 2 cents for waking up, and another 2 cents for getting dressed, and another 2 cents for fixing me some pancakes and some sausage. No, you don't do it. No. Different expenses, because you may not have those expenses all the time. You may not, because you might already be up. You might have already eaten breakfast. So that's the thing. So the cost of printing is the actual cost to print the pages. That's what you're being charged for. Because if that's the case, then Office Max could be charging you for a whole lot more than what they're charging to print. Okay, because now people say, well, what about the electricity? How do you calculate how much electricity you use just to print the pages? How are you going to calculate that? Now, can that be done? Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of meter or whatever you could put on there, but is it really worth the effort to try to calculate down to the nanocents how much electricity you use and how much did that electricity cost you to print those pages? I don't think so. I don't think that it's proper. I don't think that that's the right way to calculate it. Okay. So what I want to talk about briefly as I'm driving to this appointment, and this is just my opinion, so let me clarify, y'all. This is just my opinion. This is just what I'm seeing. Okay? Why people are not successful as an entrepreneur, in business, however you want to label it, there's a reason why. And I have mentioned it a couple of days ago, and what I think I've stumbled across is that a lot of people flat out aren't used to what it takes to be an entrepreneur. They're not used to what it takes to get up every day and to go grind for yourself. A lot of people are used to going out there and grinding for someone else, but they're thinking that when they grind for themselves, they're supposed to be sitting back in the ivory tower like their bosses are, and they're gonna call themselves an entrepreneur. I'm gonna just sit back and chill and be this entrepreneur. And this is why I believe so many of y'all are trying to get employees. A lot of you are trying to go in business just so you can have employees do all the work, and you really don't want to do the work. But if you understand entrepreneurship, and depending on the type of business you get into, you actually have to go out there and do the work so you can establish the foundation and understand the business itself. If you listen to like Mark Cuban and all that, especially Mark Cuban, the former Dallas Mavericks owner, he said, former majority, I think he might have sold all of his ownership in it, but he said that when he purchased the team, he went and figured out and learned about all of the different aspects of the organization, so he can have an understanding of what's going on in all the different areas. Many of you are struggling with your business because you don't understand what it takes to run a business. You don't understand what is necessary to make your business work where you're at. The notary business is different in every county, in every state, in every region, okay? It works differently. So what happens in Houston, Texas is different from Dallas. What happens in Dallas is different from San Antonio. What happens in San Antonio could be way different what happens in El Paso, okay? New Mexico, the way they do it in the state of Texas is different from New Mexico or Louisiana, so forth and so on. So you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to figure out how my business works in my area. How does it supposed to work? And how can I tweak it to be better? That's what you have to do. And it requires you to get up off your butt and go out here and do the business. But a lot of people don't like the level of effort that it takes to do the business. So you default to something that, okay, well, I will do this thing and I'll just have people pay me to do this. So you move away from actually doing, in this case, the notary business. Now you're not actually doing the notary business, you're just selling stuff to people who are in the notary business. You're just trying to find something to sell them, whether cups, t-shirts, another training course, another journal, a pen. You're just constantly trying to find something to sell them, but you yourself can't do or won't do the business at all. That's just the truth of the matter. And a lot of you have spent the vast majority of your years, especially if you're 35 or older, you spent the vast majority of your adult years sitting around, being sedentary, meaning you're not really active and moving. And now at your W-2, and now with this notary business at least, you got to get out there and work. You got to get out there and rip and run, and you're not used to that. And because of that, you think it costs more money to be an entrepreneur, ripping and running, than sitting on your butt at work in a W-2. You think it costs less money to do that. So I'm spending all this money to rip and run and this, that, and the other. But a lot of that money that you're spending are tax write-offs. You get tax, it's getting cold now. You got tax write-offs and things of that nature that you don't have as a W-2 employee. You still got an hour's drive, 45 minutes, 2 hours drive. You still got to buy clothes. You still got to do things, buy supplies sometimes, especially if you're a school teacher, buy supplies, and you don't get to write that stuff off. To a certain degree, you can, depending on the situation. But what I'm saying is that there are benefits that come from being being self-employed that you don't get as an employee. and you can't write it off. Just like when I worked out of the state of, when I worked in Maryland and I commuted up there, I couldn't write any of that off because I was a W-2, and they said because I chose to work out of the state. I didn't have to, because I chose to work out of state. I don't get to write off the cost of my my rental. I mean, yeah, my the place that I was renting, I don't get to write that off. They say, no, that's not a write-off for you because you chose to do this. You didn't have to. Now, if I was 1099, then that'd be different. That could be considered a business expense. But there's no business expense when you are a W-2 because you're not in business. So many of you do not understand, which then leads you into not liking, which leads you into not wanting to do entrepreneurship. You don't understand it, therefore you don't like it, therefore you don't want to do it. And you say, you know what, I'm out. And this is a waste of time. And what makes it even worse is that because you don't understand it and you don't do the proper research, you end up overspending to do the business because you're thinking that if I spend this little special amount of money over here with so-and-so, it's going to pop and just magically bring me all the customers that I want. So in other words, I put in $5,000 in this training, $5,000 in website development, and $5,000, you know, whatever, business cards and marketing and all of that kind of stuff, and Canva. So it should bring me tenfold. People start getting real religious. It should be, you know, tenfold. That's what I should be getting. And I'm like, who said so? Well, the person that sold me the stuff. Okay, where's the proof? You didn't verify, you didn't research, you didn't look into it. You just accepted that they said it worked for them, so it has to work for you. It must be a proven method. And then it doesn't happen. And partly because you don't have what it takes internally to go out here and push through the hard times. How many of y'all who are in this notary business, when things got tough at your regular W-2, you just went and quit? You said, man, forget y'all, I ain't messing with this here. And you just quit and found you another job. Instead of staying there, doing some conflict resolution, figuring out how to make it work, you just quit and ran off to somewhere else. That's what a lot of you are doing with this business. And therefore, this is why you're failing in it. This is why you're not being able to move forward. And then you get jealous, you get upset because other people are, or you see what other people are doing to be successful. Then you just come to, as they say, you know, you come to that moment in your life and say, you know what, I ain't gonna do all that. I ain't got time for all that. And I get DMs and I get emails and text messages and phone calls, people just letting me know that all of the effort that I'm doing to do this business, they're never going to do it. And I've had people tell me, don't talk about what I do, because they say, nobody don't want to hear that. I'm like, okay, what do you want to hear? Well, I want to hear how I won't make money in the business. I just told you how you make money in the business. Being willing to do what I'm doing, which is go out there and work. You don't have to do it to the level that I do, but you got to be willing to at least do some kind of work. And the people who call me and have those conversations, typically what they want to do is maybe 10 signings a month. But they want $10,000, $20,000 easily. So then that's where they get suckered into, I'm going to start a signing company. They get suckered in, I'm going to start a training company. They get suckered into, oh, I can be a mentor and a coach. But you don't even want to do the business that you mentoring and coaching in. You don't even want to do the business that you got a signing company in. You don't even like it. But yet you want to train, coach, mentor, and then hire notaries to do something that you yourself don't even like, and then you wonder why it don't work. Then the notaries are like, man, why is this person going off on me? Because when you're in something that you really don't have a heart for, you will go off on the people that you are working with in that business, because the slightest little thing they do will frustrate you. Because you want everything easy. And because it's not being easy, and you don't understand the complexities of the business, and if you do understand it, you just flat out don't like it, you go off on people. They do the slightest little thing and you think, oh Lord, I'm about to lose this contract, and you're going off on people. That is what's going on. So People are being very, very unsuccessful in this business because they don't personally want to work the business. They want the business to function and roll just like it did, or just like they do in their W-2. In my W-2, I just get in there, everything is there. I just click, point, click, get to spend much time as I want on break, much time as I want in the bathroom, much time as I want in the break, outside smoking, chopping it up, as much time as I want on the internet. See, when you're running your business, all of that stuff got to stop. Not a lot, all of that stuff has to stop. You ain't got time for it. That's why I have all the subscriptions to the little channels and stuff where I can look at them online. And I'll be up at 1 o'clock in the morning prepping my documents, and that's when I get to look at stuff. Oh, okay, man, this is an interesting show. Oh, wow, that's a nice little documentary. I'm not just looking at all these just any other show. I'm actually looking at documentaries, learning stuff, understanding business, things of that nature. Oh, okay, this is how he became successful. Oh, okay, this is the sacrifice she made in order to get to $1 million. Okay, wow. And then I have to ask myself, am I willing to put forth that level of effort? Does it require me to put forth that level of effort? Because sometimes you can put forth a level of effort that is actually not warranted for your business, and that can be very, very stressful and frustrating to you, because think about it. It takes this level of, you're saying, oh, they're saying, well, this is what I did to become successful. You say, well, I'm going to do the same thing. And then you're like, why is it not working? Well, maybe it doesn't take that for your business, or for your business in that area. So in this area over here for Texas, they had to do all of that. But in New Jersey, you ain't even got to do half of that, because you got a whole different demographic and you're in a different arena, and you can just go out there and do ... and you get all the business you want. Or maybe somewhere else you got to do double or triple. It all depends. You see what I'm saying? So I know where I'm going. I did a house inspection on these people. Okay, I know exactly where I'm going. Got this HELOC that I'm doing this evening. So that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Let me pull off on the side for a second. It's like every time I come, it's like somebody running behind me. Let me turn on my blinker so they know I'm pulling over. And then I'm going to gently pull over. And then you can roll on by, driving too fast. But yeah, so that's what I want y'all, 8:17, all right. That's what I want y'all to understand. If you're not being successful in this business, then you're going to have to evaluate, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What have you been educated on? What instructions are you following that is making it hard for you to actually be successful in this business? That's what you're going to have to do. You have to do some self-evaluation for your business. And if you're not willing to do that, then you really do need to get out of the business. You do need to find something else that you can do that doesn't require as much whatever, so you can be somewhat successful. But if you want to be successful, which means you have to define success. See, a lot of people are more concerned about this profitability. I'm not saying we don't become profitable, but in order to become profitable, you have to be successful at doing the work. If you're not successful and competent at doing the work, how can you become profitable? Because whenever you are doing the work and it's shoddy, whenever you're doing the work and it's way under par, who's going to want to pay you? You're going to end up giving out more money in refunds. You're going to end up getting less money because you're not actually able to do the work, because nobody wants to pay for shoddy work. So you're worrying about profitability, and you're not even successful for as being able to actually do the business. You can't do the task at hand. So if somebody can't do the task at hand, are you going to pay them? And because they can't do the task at hand, that means they're unsuccessful, which means they're not profitable. So you can become profitable not because you just woke up one morning and had a notary stamp and everybody just threw a bunch of money at you. You still got to do the notarial part correctly. As you succeed in doing that, boom, everything else will flow. Now what messes with your profitability is your inability to manage your money. So if you don't have the ability to manage your money, then of course you're not going to be profitable. There's no way you can be profitable if you're not managing your money, which means what? Many successful businesses end up broke because they don't know how to manage their money, or they have somebody in the organization that is abusing the money, taking the money, stealing it, all of that, and they're doing things wrong. So the goal is be successful. Be successful at what? Whatever the position that you're doing, whatever the job that you're doing is, be successful at that so you can continue to bring in revenue over and over and over, to the point that you got more revenue coming in than expenses going out. And then once you have that, now you're moving into the realm of profitability. To stay profitable, you got to make sure that the services you offer, the quality and the care that you have in doing it don't go down. Then you have to make sure that the expense to do the business doesn't go exponentially up. And if it does, then you may have to adjust your pricing. But at the same time, you can't be overspending, and all of a sudden you got all this money coming in and you're spending all your time in Vegas and stuff. And this is what happens with a lot of signing companies. So you're a new notary, which goes all the way back to the stuff I've said before, that notaries who don't run their notary, people who don't run their notary business correctly, will not run their signing company business correctly. Because if they overspent and had poor money management skills with their notary business, they're going to have the same thing with their signing company business. And next thing you know, they weren't paying their bills as a notary. They're not going to pay their bills as a signing company owner, which you and me are that bill. I know this makes sense. I know it makes sense. It's clear. The question is, are you going to accept it and then learn how to work in that, rather than trying to work against it? Accept, okay, this is how things are. Not because Griff said so, but because that's the way things are. If you're trying to be profitable, be successful first. Be successful at what? Doing the job that you said you was going to do. Do it consistently. Chick-fil-A, Captain D's, KFC, any of these stores, they're successful. They're profitable because they're successful at what? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, which is provide you food and service and all that. That's why Chick-fil-A be popping. Now, Chick-fil-A profitability, it's all about how much they waste money. If they're wasting money, they're successful at bringing in money. They're just poor at keeping it. And that's many of you. So you tell me your thoughts on it. But if you're not being successful, it's time for some self-evaluation. It ain't got nothing to do with no New Year's resolution and all of that. So this is just the time of the year in which I'm talking about this. So it has nothing to do with the end of the calendar year and the start of the next one, any of that. This is just stuff that you got to do no matter what. And this is stuff that I do, my wife does, on a continuous basis to make sure that I'm going in the right direction with my business. It's that simple. So why people are not successful as an entrepreneur? Because they didn't realize the cost of entry, and they didn't realize the cost of being able to play and stay in it. So they said, bump it, I'm out. And for some of them, they got the money to get in it, but once they realize what it takes to stay in it, no, I'm good. Nope. This ain't what I signed up for. So now the question becomes, what did you sign up for? Why don't y'all do that in the comment section? Tell me, what was your expectations when you signed up to be a notary? True, I mean, be honest. It ain't like nobody goes, oh, you want that. Just be honest. What was your true expectation when you saw so-and-so and so-and-so bragging about all the money they making? What was your expectation? Like, ooh, I can do this because, what was it? Oh, I can go on a cruise every week. Or I can do this every day. Or I can do this. I can buy me some more Red Bottom. Oh, man, I can get some Gators. I mean, what was your expectation? Mine was simply, I got tired of doing all those gig jobs. I had like 8, 9 of them. I got tired of doing them. Be honest with you. I got tired of doing them. I wanted one simple thing, and I was able to get that done. I got down to one simple thing, and then I expanded it to 2 with the house inspections. I'll say I'm good. And then eventually my goals change to being free and working for my own self and not working a W-2. That's what it was for me. Wasn't about traveling all over the place, sipping mimosas every day. No, it was spending time with the family and being able to have the money to take care of them at the same time. And that's what the goal is, and it's going to continue to be the goal. So what was your expectations when you got in? A money phone? Popping? All of this at? Cruising? Being able to just have 50 people working for you? You don't even know how to work for yourself. Like my wife said, would you hire you as an employee? Because as an entrepreneur, you are your first employee. And would you hire yourself? Would you have to write yourself up every day because of a lack of effort, a lack of work ethics, lying, cheating, and stealing? Would you employ yourself? If you sat across from yourself and you know, nah, I wouldn't hire me. Now you got to figure out how to change who you are so that you're somebody that you will want to hire. All right, talk to y'all later. Peace.